third gold medal in the tournament. Canada didn't compete in the tournament last year in Europe. Trying for a first gold medal since 2018. Ethan Gauthier trying to dig that free. The tournament goal-scoring leader with 5. Pulls that free for Zach Benson. And Gauthier, the son of longtime NHLer Denny Gauthier, hunts down the puck. Here's Braden Yeager with it. Yeager back to the captain, Cameron Allen. That shot goes wide up the other side and picked up by Axel Sandin-Pellikka. Yeager tried to hold the line, but the puck squirted away from the Saskatoon native. Yeager, rink wide again for Benson, who plays for Winnipeg in the Western Hockey League. Had a great 16-year-old year for them. Scored 25 goals in 58 games. Flips it back in front and just missed Kalen Lind. And he had 9 goals in the 15 playoff games for good measure. On Finland yesterday. Back at the point, here's Cameron Allen. The captain shoots.
That year without having watched them play as 15-year-olds.
Like so many levels of hockey, really flying blind when you're drafting players. And even this class for NHL scouts, it's not a full resume. That pass is intercepted by Lucas Sagrandin. And Sagrandin plays that rink wide and sent down softly. Next week in Edmonton.
You talked about Braden Yeager being the 3rd overall pick in the Western Hockey League Bantam draft.
There's a centering pass, goes wide. Is trying to pick it up as Zet Forsfjall. Looking for the lacrosse move there was Otto Stenberg, who's a top-rated Swede for the upcoming NHL draft. And now Zach Benson works in with Gauthier. Benson across the turn pass. He falls, and a chance now for the Swedes, but it's cleaned up by Allen. Snaps that pass ahead for Barlow. In comes Barlow with Barkey and Crystal. The centering pass bounced away from Andrew Crystal. Tournier back down behind the goal for Barlow. Obi Barlow plays for Owen Sound in the OHL. Had a couple of short-handed goals in Canada's opening game against Switzerland on the same penalty kill. And that cross-ice pass misfires. A race for it now. Tournier goes back. He spun around Jacob Sagadin. Sagadin made headlines in Sweden's round-robin loss to Canada, blocking 3 shots on 1 shift and then getting blown up at the end of it.
You ever want to see what the definition of paying the price is? He did it.
Tanner Howe drops it back. Oh, a quick shot. The save made by Erlenden. Back at the point. Bonk shoots, and guess what? They're second it again, blocking that shot. He's been a puck magnet here now. A big shot by... It's interesting that Tanner Howe was born in November of 05. Of the 20 players on the Canadian roster, 16 are born in the first 3 months of 2005. January, February, or March. Now a centering pass. Gauthier with a chance on the feed from Benson, just missed. And of course, at this age, being born early in the year, an advantage. That age difference is more pronounced there as Yeager takes that shot and Erlenden makes the stop.
That's just great small area play by that top line for Canada, and Yeager steps right into a quick pass into that space. Good save by Erlenden.
Tanner Molenbeek of the Saskatoon Blades kicks at it. Gauthier trying to center it. And it's brought out now by Arvid Bergstrom. Bergstrom goes rink wide for Sagrandin. Sagrandin in, shoots, Ratzlaff the save. Captain of this Canadian team with a 1-0 lead now in the first period. Back at the line, kicking at it now to knock it out is Cataford. He's trying to find Matthew Wood, and here's Wood with it. Wood's scheduled to become a 17-year-old freshman at the University of Connecticut next month, after playing last year in the BC Junior League. 45 goals in 46 games in that league for Victoria. Cataford works in with Wood. Rakoff behind the play. And that's knocked away. A good defensive play by Theo Lindstein. And now Cataford trying to dig it free. Wood sent flying. And it's brought out by Forsfjall.
Djurgården had a really tough start to their season last year and never recovered. They made a coaching change, and it just wasn't enough to find a way to the right side of relegation and keep them in the SHL.
Felix Nilsson plays that across. It's knocked in by Gustav Kangas. Ratzlaff out to play it, and he finds Allen. Cameron Allen winds out, throws that rink wide, trying to find height. That was knocked down by Sandin-Pellikka. And a lead pass for Forsfjall moving in. Bumped there by Allen. Forsfjall stays on it. Top line goes back to work now for Sweden. Noel Nord.
There's another example. Right there, Braden Yeager being below the puck defensively.
Puck quirks away, and that shot taken by Sandin Pellikka, gloved away by Ratzlaff. Lindstein knocked the puck free. Yeager goes through the middle, chipped ahead for Gauthier. Ethan Gauthier trying to dig it free. Tied up along the boards by Willie Johansson. With the empty net goal for Sweden against Czechia in the semis yesterday. Yeager, rink wide for World Junior as well. Stenberg feeds that back, and the long shot by Sandin Pellikka, knocked away by Ratzlaff.
Good play by Ratzlaff, too, to direct that puck into the corner.
Stenberg works in, puck at his feet, picked up by Yeager. And away comes Braden Yeager. He's poke checked by Sandin Pellikka. Now Stenberg back with it. Back across to Lindstein. Almost stolen by Benson, and now brought in by David Edstrom.
Did the right thing. He moved over, but then just not a certainty in terms of your positioning, and just enough open room for Pettersson to take advantage of that space.
Tournier back with it. And now that's stolen away by Felix Nilsson. Centers it. Another shot. Ratzlaff kicks that away as Lucas Sagrandin got that away. Ivo Pettersson with his second goal of the tournament, also scored against Switzerland in Sweden's second game. Here's Sandin Pellikka. Now Price chips at it. Rakoff bumped off the puck for the moment by Sagrandin. And the puck bouncing back to center ice. Played back by Lindstein. Sandin Pellikka, rink wide pass. The cue. Scored a hat trick in his first game here. And scores in the first period of the gold medal game. He's a quick starter. Finishes not badly, too. Allen shoots. That was tipped in front. So another power play goal for Canada. Now 8 for 14 on the man advantage in the tournament. Bouncing puck at the side of the goal for Forsfjord. Drops that back, and it's picked off by Wood. It's picked off at the line by Sandin Pellikka. Now moved out by Wood. And a race forward now. Crystal goes after it as Sandin Pellikka retreats for Sweden. Forced free. And a chance now for Crystal. Drops it back. Back across. Wood goes between his legs. Allen had jumped up. Couldn't get a shot away. Off the draw. Controlled by Molendyk. Cross ice pass to McKinnon. Dylan McKinnon of the Halifax Mooseheads banks that in, and back to pick it up is Sandin Pellikka. Moved ahead to Calle Carlson. That was broken up again by McKinnon. Feeds that back to Molendyk with a head of steam. Molendyk from McBride, BC, just outside Prince George. Waiting for it is Hugo Pettersson, who has the Swedish goal, but at center ice, Molendyk gathers up a loose puck and fires it back down to the Swedish zone. That puck just died off the end boards. And now Bach picks up the loose puck and feeds it across for Height. Height back with it. Drops that back to Bonk, skips away from him. A foot race for it now as Bonk hustles back.
This is into pro hockey, but those qualities of skating and power and physical competitiveness are always valued. Had
a hat trick for Kitchener last year. The third youngest Kitchener Ranger ever to record a hat trick, behind Mike Richards and Jeff Skinner.
I might not have got Mike Richards, but I would have bet on Jeff Skinner.
Denver Barkey brings it out. Slides that by Lindstein. In comes Barkey. Centers it. Just missing that was Barlow. Price plays it back in. Back down to Howe, who opened the scoring for Canada this game. Barkey back with it. Barkey centers it. Barlow had that bounce away, and it skips over the stick of Jordan Tournier.
The other way, they close it down in the neutral zone as well and hold the blue line exceptionally well.
Teams start this second period 5-on-5. Canada holding a 2-1 lead. Ethan Gauthier, he was in the interview talking about how ticked he was. That first goal was waved off, so he helped the officials out with that goal signal. At the point, Sandin Pellikka holds. Feeds that down towards the goal mouth. That's swung away by Ratzlaff. Benson chips that back for Yeager. Zach Benson works in for Yeager. In shoots! And at some point, but more than 200 NHL people credentialed for this competition. Well, that shot deflected, and Ratzlaff had to be careful with that. Barkey has it stripped away by Forsfjord. Now trying to reach for it. Back across for Sandin Pellikka. Shoots. That goes off the skate of Tournier. Over the
with their group about what players' potential is. It's all part of it.
If you go to a junior rink and you want to know where the scouts are, they're almost always in the corner.
Not me, ever.
Why?
Always at the red line. The game goes back and forth, not to you or away from you. Marshall Johnson, just a phenomenal scout. Somebody I learned a lot from. He said, unless you're a goalie, that's the only time the play goes away from you and to you.
Stenberg tries a center. That's knocked away.
I was never a goalie. I sit right in the middle of the rink, back and forth.
There's a quick chance again for Forsfjord. That's turned away and brought away by Wood. Matthew Wood falls in front of Lindstein, and now Lindstein plays it rink wide for Nord.
Well, a lot of times the corners are the ones that are less populated, so that's why. Yeah, I mean, I think Winnipeg is the class of the East, but I think that Red Deer would be the next team there, and certainly there's lots of time for teams to make adjustments, but it's a good team here in Red Deer, Gord.
Lucas Sagranen plays that back. Sandin Pellikka is tied up there by Height. Puck in the corner for Lucas Kling. Here's Bonk with it. Eventually played part of the year for the London Knights, part of the year for St. Thomas, which, depending on your point of view, is a Tier 2 Junior A or Junior B team, but for most of the country it's known as Junior A hockey. Height plays it back in. Bouncing puck in front, score! Callum!
Yeah, and Sweden.
McKinnon knocks that down. Canada's had a wide edge in play here in the second period.
Time and time again, we've seen this from Canada, you know, finding a way to stretch their dominance.
Canada's World Junior team at the 2024 tournament in Sweden. And of course, their teams are not participating. There's a long shot by Bergstrom, got through, and Ratzlaff makes the stop on that. Now bouncing puck in front, Ratzlaff down, a penalty coming to Canada. The tournament, Canada's penalty killing is 20 for 20. With 3 shorthanded and all teed up for the shot. Yeager wins it back, Benson pokes it to Yeager. Looks behind the goal to Zach Benson. Benson slides that back for Tournier. Has to throw that back in. And now knocked down by Benson to keep it alive for the moment. Yeager back on it. Braden Yeager. Again, Sweden can't clear it out. Here's Molendyk with it. Molendyk down to Benson. Plays it back to Molendyk. Across it goes to Tournier. Tournier shoots. That goes off the skate. 3-second power play for Canada at the end of this. As Allen looks ahead for Yeager. Icing waved off as Wilander goes back. Skates away from Gauthier. Tom Wilander plays for the EIK Stockholm Junior program. And now Gauthier with it. Ethan Gauthier. That pass broken up and brought ahead by Lindstein. Lindstein up ahead for Dower Nilsson. And Molendyk closes on him. Tanner Molendyk. That power play for Canada is over after 3 seconds. And away comes Tournier. Jordan Tournier works in. Holds, trying to drop that for Gauthier. Now Ethan Gauthier has it rolled away. Barkley on it. Denver Barkey. Loose along the boards, tries to knock that free. Now Howe with it. Howe. Still on it, back down to Barkey. Barkey throws it back, and a shot by Tournier. HV71 was relegated a couple of years ago. You lose out in the TV money as that shot dribbles just over the crossbar by Benson. That affects everything going down because in those communities, the pro team is in charge of all the minor hockey. So from under 20, under 18, under 16, women's hockey all gets affected by the lack of funding. And those teams are already stressed from the lack of money and revenue from the COVID time. So it's a big issue in European hockey. Long shot goes wide and bounces back to center ice. So imagine here in Red Deer if the Rebels were in charge of all the minor hockey. Saw their son lose a shutout with 18 seconds to go in the semifinal yesterday. Here's Howe with it. Banks it back down to the Swedish zone. 5.5 to go here in the second period. Tom Wilander plays it up ahead. Stenberg centers it, knocked down by Price, and he banks it back out to center ice. Here's Stenberg with it. Skates away from Crystal. And now knocked back by Cataford. Allen out to center ice. Crystal dropped that back for Cataford. That's picked up now by Nord, but Allen knocked that away. Cataford back on it. Flipped back in by Wilander. And Allen back to pick it up. Inside 5 to go here in the second period. Gold medal game of the 2022 Hlinka Gretzky Cup. Canada didn't play in this tournament last year. It was held in Czechia and Slovakia, and due to travel restrictions, the Canadian team did not attend. There was no tournament in 2020. And now the bouncing pass is blocked. Lucas King tried to throw that back in front, but Caden Price got in the way. Long shot deflected wide off the stick of Edvin Nilsson. Still loose behind the goal. Here's Rakoff with it. Up ahead to Cataford and brought in by Crystal. Andrew Crystal waiting for help to arrive off the bench. Just holds that puck. And a long wrist shot goes off the leg of Lind. Land bumped there by Ritchie. And now Lind with a rolling puck. Sends it back for Ritchie. Still squirting around in front and finally picked up by David Edstrom. Edstrom plays for the Frölunda junior program in Gothenburg. I always thought that that quick shot deflected wide by Ratzlaff. I always thought that he and Herb Brooks had so much in common, because as much as any coach I've ever come across, the two of them loved to talk about the game, had thoughts about it and ways to improve it. Stenberg drops that back across for Nord. That pass broken up, flipped high in the air, but batted ahead by Tom Wilander. And brought out now by Benson. Zach Benson works it back across. And the return pass by Gauthier misfired. And back come the Swedes as Theo Lindstein has it. Rink wide pass for Forsfeld. Drops it back to Stenberg. Can't get a shot away. And Gauthier knocks Stenberg off the puck. McKinnon up to Benson. He finds Barkey. Denver Barkey working in. Stays on it as Sandin Pellikka stayed with him, and they battle for the loose puck. And Barkey's right back on it. And Barkey steps to the Sandin Pellikka. What
a great shift by Sandin Pellikka, though.
Now brought in by Willie Johansson. Shoots. Rakoff for the face-off. Picked up by Sandin Pellikka, who's been very good for Sweden in this tournament. Centering pass, and that goes off the stick-ons. Went to Finland. Their first medal in this tournament since 2012, which is hard to believe. But as you said, they use this as a year-long development process. And like the Swedes, have a full-time under-18 team, a full-time under-18 coach throughout the year. Benson plays out ahead. And Benson knocked hard off the puck by Sandin Pellikka. Theo Lindstein brings it ahead for Sweden. Rink wide pass finds.
And certainly his goal to get Canada rolling here in this gold medal game is significant.
It's amazing how often a player starts a tournament to the first game. They said, you're our #1 center. Who do you want your wingers to be?
Yeah. Imagine saying, okay, you're only going to play on the power play. I mean, Wayne was such a great competitor. We know how skilled he was, dominant offensively. He was a great competitor.
Now loose puck in front, bounced away from Jaeger at a close chance there.
How about the 1978
players who will go in the first round of next year's draft are playing in this game?
Oh, there's no question about it. Just no question.
Theo Lindstein moves out ahead for Lucas Kling, busting in. Kling throws it back in front. That's knocked away by Barkey.
So I just ran into Matthias Johansson.
Oh, yeah.
Played in Färjestad for Londe. He was a Calgary Flames draft pick. He came over when I had become the general manager. We brought him over as, you know, he was a good European player. Came over and played with us. Just ran into him. Well, why did I run into him? His son is number 20.
In their age group. Now, 6 other guys in that team played the Olympics 5 years later. Crosby, Bergeron.
There's a few of them headed to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, Getzlaff, Richards, Perry, Weber. And Pretty good group. Power play in the game. Their first one was 3 seconds long. They took a penalty right off the draw. So their first full chance here. Canada's penalty killing is 21 for 21, and that hard
Attending by Scott Ratzlaff.
Went unbeaten in his first 17 games in regulation for Seattle last year. Came out all the way to the conference final, or to the league final, rather. Ratzlaff leaves it there. Battle back around the boards and down the ice.
Seattle had 2 first-round draft picks. Number 7, Kevin Korchinski to Chicago, and at 32, Reed Schaefer to the Edmonton Oilers.
Bank back down the ice, and now Benson goes after it. Canada does have 3 short-handed goals in the tournament. And here is Stenberg with it. Lead pass for Edstrom. David Edstrom being watched by Benson, then McKinnon bumps him. Loose in the corner. Jaeger with it. Braden laid back in by Willie Johansson. And here's Jordan Tournier. Lead pass at center ice is knocked down by Lindstein. Up ahead to Sagadin, and a big hit there by Tanner Molendyk.
Canada's defense again. They have played forward everywhere on the ice. Applied pressure. They said, this is how we're going to play, and all the defensemen have embodied it.
Brought ahead by Jaeger along with Benson. Zach Benson and roll off his stick. Jaeger back on it. And that's picked off by Dower Nilsson. Drops it back for 35 seconds to go in the Swedish power play. Theo Lindstein drops that back, and now Dower Nilsson had to hustle back as Denver Barkey had, as they say, eyes like a butcher's dog, seeing that puck sitting there.
Their defensive effort and approach to playing without the puck has been significant to their success here.
Canada 1 for 3 on the power play in the game, including that very brief one. Came into the game 7 for 13 on the man advantage. Molendyk with the move, gains center ice, and winds it in on the Canadian man advantage. Molendyk back around for Ritchie. Drops it back to Crystal. He goes to Jaeger. Tipped back in front by Ritchie, but that just wide. Back at the point, held by Molendyk. Takes the return pass from Wood. Molendyk shoots, hit a leg, and it's brought back up by Noel Nord. And Nord swings back. Kostadinski's going to be interesting. He's a great big guy, 6'5", 214. He's obviously awkward at that age, but someone will take a chance on him. Well,
yeah, they will, and decisions don't have to be made here in August. You get to watch him over time, right. How much more he improves over the course of the season.
Big guys take longer, as you know.
I think one of the things that, you know, watching Kostadinski here is that he's got a real good sense of the game. He moves the puck well. He's not showing any dynamic offensive abilities, but these are the things that you watch over time.
Gauthier plays out ahead. Inside 6 to go in the third period. We will stay at the conclusion of the game for the player of the game presentations and the silver and gold medal presentations, along with the championship trophy. Tournier shoots and makes the stop.
It was in Magnitogorsk in Ufa. He played in that tournament, and then we know what he did in 2020.
Now with a long shot.
Most valuable player at the 2020 World Junior Tournament.
In Ostrava in Czechia. The Swedes trying for a push here. The first team to Nathan Gauthier back down to the Swedish zone, and icing waved off as Theo Lindstein goes back. Now a centering pass, which Henry on 4 power play for Sweden. Draw was won by Jaeger. And a battle for the puck in the corner. Swedes trying to draw back within 2 here, with essentially a 2-man advantage, but Barkey after it. That's knocked away by Sandin Pellikka. Inside 2 to go in the third period. The good news is for Lynn is he'll get out in time to join a celebration should it happen. And it's looking very likely at this point. Sandin Pellikka drops that back to Lindstein. And that long shot by Sandin Pellikka. Rebound! And once again, Edstrom turned away by Ratzlaff. Back across is Sandin Pellikka for Stenberg. Stenberg shoots and ticks off the crossbar, up and out of play. And that shot whistled wide by Pettersson.
Not surrendering a power play goal in this tournament. Only surrendering 3 to this point with 19 seconds left.
So Lynn steps back on. That's hammered high.
Is it 05? 05. 23 is coming up. You're right.
Yep. The 05. So the 05 Birds here could play in that 2025 tournament. They'll be a big part of it. Long shot. Taken by Lindstein. Chipped away. And Canada has done it again. A gold medal at the